And there are no coincidences. One day after, Judge Sue Robinson suspends Deshaun Watson for 6 games.
Yeah.
An investigation that had been lingering for months that really didn't take as much time as was required to come to a conclusion. They pull the sheet off of their investigation of Dolphins owner Stephen Ross 1 day later. And some people would say, well, it was to turn the page on Deshaun Watson. Well, but the page is going to get turned back when they appeal her decision.
Right.
It was, I believe, to let the world know they also will punish owners under the right circumstances. There isn't a double standard, even though we know there is.
Yeah.
There isn't. And we'll talk more about it. There's proof of the double standard baked into what they did to Stephen Ross, because he should have gotten it a lot worse than he did.
I would agree with that, too.
On both counts.
Yeah.
And we knew about the tanking accusation.
Right.
That's what started all of this.
Right.
The idea that, as Brian Flores alleged in his lawsuit that was filed on February 1 of 2022, that Stephen Ross at one point offered during the 2019 season $100,000 per loss because Ross was hell-bent on getting the first overall pick in the draft. And it had gone from tank for Tua to he had an obsession with Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
He wanted Joe Burrow. He wanted to get that draft position, and Flores had been alarmed, and he had documented, he had sounded the alarm internally, and Flores' argument is, this is one of the reasons why this guy wanted to get rid of me. And this is common in employment discharge cases. Somebody gets fired, and it feels to them that this doesn't make sense, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because they're not telling me the truth.
Right.
So Flores' argument, and it's more elaborate and specific in his amended complaint. Initially, he didn't tie it to why he was fired.
Right.
In his amended complaint, he says that this is one of the reasons why he got rid of me.
Well,
this is either a situation of racial discrimination, or he decided that I shouldn't be on the team because I'm not taking the cues. I'm not following the express or implied instructions from the multi-billionaire who owns the team that I should deliberately lose games to improve the draft position.
Right.
So,
and I think after you got fired and had some time to think a little bit, from people I know B-Flow a little bit, these things started to come into his mind a little bit to where, that's where I think you start to think about the past, things that happened. You talked about it a little bit on the show and before, and I feel like, that could have sparked some like, maybe that is what happened to me. And I've kind of heard that through the grapevine with people connected to him, that after he got fired, he settled in a little bit. He went, man, maybe that Joe Burrow thing was part of this equation of him being fired, or maybe the owner didn't like him because of it.
So that's how it all got started.
Right.
As the investigation continued, and Mary Jo White, who has 7 or 8 NFL investigation plates going currently.
Yeah.
At least she's got one fewer now.
Right.
But it took a detour. And we're going to talk about how they resolved the tanking, because I'm still astounded that they weren't punished for that.
Well, they're not going to go there yet.
We'll
get to it.
That. But on the tampering side, something that no one really expected, and I've gone back through some of our PFT posts. At some point along the way, I raised the question of whether or not the league should investigate the Dolphins for tampering with Tom Brady, because we were the ones, and there were very few others who were even acknowledging it, talking about it, chasing it, doing anything to even mention that it was a thing. And we lit this fuse.
Was that February?
Late February.
Early March,
February.
Right? Yeah.
This is it, February 28, 2022, while we were on the air, once we finished the opening segment of the show, because what happened was Chris and I were both independently hearing.
We were texting each other on a Friday night or a Saturday night.
But I had been hearing Sean Payton, Tom Brady to the Dolphins. And
I had heard something was up with Brady, and we started to kind of text, and I started to ask you, did you hear anything about Brady and another team? I don't know if he really retiring, whatever. Right. And that's where it kind of went.
And at the time that this happened, Brady was retired. He was in that 40-day window where he was retired.
Right.
And Peyton had already resigned from the Saints. And it was a Friday night, and I remember just the light bulb saying, I think between the two of us, we got enough.
I think so too, right. Remember.
To talk about this on Monday. And what I did on Sunday is I actually pretended to be a real reporter and sought comment from people. And I was stunned that the Dolphins, and in hindsight, maybe I'm not stunned because I think they knew this was coming.
Right.
they cooperated
yeah.
and legitimized some of it. Like, well, yeah, you know what? A call was
there
made
was contact
to
and all
the
that. Yes.
Saints about Sean Payton, but it didn't go anywhere. And we did consider adding Tom Brady as a minority owner. And ultimately, that's what I was told reliably, and it took a little while for us to get to this point. But here was the timeline. Here's what was going to happen. February 1, Tom Brady retires from the NFL.
Right.
Retires from the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
The following week, as the Super Bowl approaches in Los Angeles, the Dolphins announce Tom Brady is a minority owner of the team. And Ben Volen of the Boston Globe added this at some point, possibly an executive like Marino is.
Yeah.
Dan Marino's been an executive. Remember, he went there at one point and was actually going to work and realized, no, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Just give me an office and a title, and I'll just walk around and talk to people. Brady was going to have something like that.
Right.
And then at some point, he was going to play. And in between that,
yeah,
Sean Payton was going to be acquired from the Saints as the head coach. That was the plan.
Right.
And the Brian Flores lawsuit filed the same day Brady retired. And I think Flores knew exactly what he was doing. I think he had the thing locked and loaded, and he knew he was going to derail Brady and Payton to Miami, and he did. It was happening. So that was the other side of this investigation. At some point, they realized there's a lot of smoke here. We'd be stupid not to look for the fire because it's not going to be hard to find. Because you know what? Everybody tampers.
Well, yes.
Everybody does it.
Right.
That's part of this.
Right.
It happens all the time. And this is one of the problems I've had with the NFL for years. It is rampant. It is blatant. It is casual. It is nonchalant. The scouting combine, it's rampant with meetings between teams and agents for the players who are about to become free agents. And every once in a while, somebody gets whacked for it. And I believe that the Dolphins, who did get whacked for this, I think they got whacked for it because they needed to get Stephen Ross for something, and they weren't going to get him for tanking. So they had it gift-wrapped, silver platter, tampering, and they felt like they had to do it. And look, he's gone. He's suspended through week 6 of the regular season. Can't be around the team. And it's not like it's a big loss because, as we've said before, he doesn't even work there.
Yeah.
He lives in New York. He only flies in for games. So it's not like you're really hurting the guy. You're just saying he can't attend
league
6
meetings
regular
and
season
other
games,
things, right.
and there's a couple of meetings between now and then, and like that's a big loss. We've been to some league meetings. Like, oh geez, what a shame I can't go to the league meeting this year. So it's not like they really. It's an embarrassment for him.
Yes,
and he's fined $1.5 million, which is, come on, it's
dropping the bucket.
It's couch cushion money for Stephen Ross, and a first-round pick in 2023 and a third-round pick, in 2024. That's where you hurt a team.
No doubt.
When you start taking away their first-round picks. Bruce Beal also, who was the connection to Brady.
The middleman.
He's fined $500,000, and he can't attend any league meetings in the 2022 season. And again, I mean, what are you really taking away from Bruce Beal when you say you can't attend league meetings? He's not really suspended.
He's not really, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what they did to the Dolphins after finding, and here's what's amazing. Okay, so it's a pretty strong punishment.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well,
go ahead.
What I was just going to say right off the bat, the tampering was blatant. I mean, to your point, you're right. It always goes on. This is the most blatant tampering I can remember, though, as far as like a 3-year pursuit, basically, of a guy who was on a team all 3 years, and then a coach. Where, again, I'm like you. I wondered, would he have retired if he knew this was going to go down? Because maybe he retired from the Saints because he wanted to go to the Miami. I wonder that if Sean Payton would still be with the Saints right now if this wasn't going on.
That hit me yesterday, too.
I know. It was the first thing I thought of. Like, did he really want to retire? I don't know either. So, and then I feel like just and I know we're going to hit on it in a second, but the trying to lose games, the tanking and all that, I understand them coming down hard on the tampering charges and all that. I think they could have came down harder. I don't feel like they want to come down too hard on the tanking thing because it almost incriminates the league itself, right?
And we'll get to that.
Yeah,
you're right.
I know.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.